Hello, everyone, and happy holidays to everyone watching today. Today is Christmas Day, and we got a lot of reviews to come out today as I was actually finally able to get a good chunk of these movies watched. So stay tuned to the channel for movies that are going to be popping up here. But the first one we're going to be talking about is a Hulu film that came out about a month ago called Happiest Season. Now, the first time I saw this trailer for Happiest Season, the first thing that I noticed right off the bat was the cast. This cast looks fantastic. I love a lot of the people in this film. And because of that, it immediately made kind of up at the charts on my most watched list in terms of the many films there is out there to watch right now. Like I said, this cast, all together, you have your holiday antics that you're going to get with a lot of these movies. And I think with this cast, the main thing that I was looking for is with these films, with the Meet the Parent-esque kind of films, they all seem to hit the same notes every time. But like I said in previous reviews, like Freaky, is yes, we know we're going to hit the same notes that we've seen in previous films before, but can the cast and the writing do enough to make me feel something different than something that I've seen 100 times over? And with this cast, I feel like it was pretty positive to do it. So through all that talking, let's go ahead and hop into the review and see exactly what I thought of Happiest Season. Now, the general plot of Happiest Season is we've got Abby, played by Stewart, and Harper, played by Davis. They've been together for, I believe, at least a year now. And Abby has been invited to visit Harper's family for Christmas with Harper. But one lingering omission from Harper is that Harper has basically never told her family that she is a lesbian. So they still think that she's straight, and Abby is basically her orphan roommate coming home because she just didn't want to leave her alone for the holidays. Harper's family are basically very competitive, very top tier level family because the father, Victor Garber, who plays Ted, he's running for mayor, so they're just in the spotlight. They have to consistently always look their best and not mess up, and always kind of be fighting for the top rung of the best sibling. And Allison Brie plays her sister Sloane, who used to have that rung, but has lost it to Harper. And then Mary Holland plays Jane, the youngest sister, who's kind of the black sheep of the family. And you really see that in terms of when they're all around each other. She's just kind of the one that's kind of hushed away and not a focal point to the overall family. And then, of course, Mary Steenburgen plays Tipper, Ted's wife. So there's a lot of stress for Harper as she's coming home because she wants to hold off and tell the family that she's a lesbian after the holidays. But Abby had a plan when she was coming to the holidays that she was going to propose to Harper, but obviously those plans got derailed. And basically that's basically the main plot is these 5 days with the family. How is Abby going to survive these 5 days, keeping the secret? Is Harper going to be able to do it? And then basically antics ensue. Like I said, other standouts, you got Aubrey Plaza, who plays Riley, who's an old ex of Harper's, basically her first lover. And then, like I said, Dan Levy plays John, who is Abby's best friend, who basically most of the time in the film, they're communicating via phone calls, but still great nonetheless. The cast in this film is fantastic. I loved, for the most part, everyone in this film. Kristen Stewart and Mackenzie Davis have great chemistry together. Did I wish Mackenzie Davis was her blonde-haired self in this and not the weird? I don't know. She just doesn't work for me as a brunette. But I get why they wanted to do it because they didn't want to have two blondes. But I wish Kristen Stewart was a blonde in this, but that doesn't matter. It really doesn't. It was just more just like to the eye. But their chemistry together works incredibly well. You can see the love that they have for one another. They have their little quirks. They have their little things that make them them. And when they're alone and just together, you see the love that they have for one another, which is why when they go home and everything kind of gets put on hold, you can start seeing not necessarily the deception, but the hurtness coming from Abby and the stress levels coming from Harper. And I think Mackenzie Davis and Kristen Stewart do a really good job of portraying that for the film. Allison Brie is Sloane character. Do I wish she had a little bit more to do in this film? Absolutely. But with the little parts that we get from her in this, she speaks volumes because she was once the prized child in the family. But because of her life choices and her decisions, she has fallen down a peg, and she is so desperate to cling onto that top rung that Harper now controls. And their interactions with one another are two of the highlights of the film because they are just so cutthroat towards each other. And to me, a big standout in the film, outside of this already great cast, is Mary Holland, who plays Jane. Like I said, she's the black sheep of the family, but she's just so full of life and happiness that she just wants everyone to be happy, and she just wants to live her best life. But no one really gives her a moment's notice in the film, and it's really sad. But she's someone who just doesn't want to let what's happening around her hold her back and hold her down from her dreams and aspirations. And we do see that throughout the film. Dan Levy's hilarious in every scene he's in. If you've seen him in Schitt's Creek, he brings that aesthetic to the film as well, and it works for him. Aubrey Plaza is Aubrey Plaza in this movie. She's a delight in her own little way. The one, I guess, negative, if I have to find a negative in the film, is the writing of Mary Steenburgen's Tipper. It's just her character, and I guess also a little bit of Victor Garber's Ted. Their characters are written so harsh and mean and rude to a sense that Abby's character really kind of takes a huge blow from everyone in the family outside of Jane, that it's not really warranted and it's not earned at all in the film. They just kind of are just mean to her and rude to her at every chance they can get, and it's not something like now if they had known that she was a lesbian and they were together with Harper, then I could see where this angst and this kind of rudeness towards her would come from. But for her being the orphan straight friend of Harper, it just doesn't feel earned in the film. And so every scene with them just talking to Abby just feels kind of mean-spirited, and just it's not earned at all in the film, to the point where you just kind of can't stand Mary Steenburgen's character or Victor Garber's character whenever they're on screen. But when they're around the rest of the family, it's not as bad. But because of that, I almost just couldn't stand having Mary Steenburgen on screen, because it was just not, it was uncalled for. It was literally just being a bully to be a bully, and there was no emphasis in the story up until a certain point in the film that it was ever earned in the film overall. So that kind of takes a little bit away from the film itself. And yes, like I said, the movie does hit the same similar beats that you do see from a lot of these Meet the Parents kind of films, where you have the ex-lover, you have the family trying to force somebody on that person and going against the supposed love interest, where in this movie they don't have a love interest technically because they're not supposed to be together. But it all hits these same beats and ebb and flows that we have seen in previous films. So it does kind of, if you're in the mood to see that stuff, or you like these kinds of movies because they have those kind of same story beats, then you're going to like that. But if you're looking for something new, if you're looking for something unique outside of just that they're lesbians and the family doesn't know about it, it's not going to do enough to really change it or make you love this more than something like Ben Stiller's Meet the Parents or any other of these holiday Meet the Parent kind of films. But I digress. That by the end of the film, when the film's third act starts and you get that whole flip, and you know the flip I'm talking about if you've seen these kinds of movies, you start to kind of develop this relationship with that family. You're growing with this family as they are growing through these 5 days. Certain characters definitely get a boost in their likability and stuff like that, and especially one in particular. And there are certain scenes that are done by certain actors and actresses. One, especially Mackenzie Davis, as Harper's character. There's one moment in the film, I'm not going to say what happens in it, that I think she knocks out of the park. Because as I was watching, I was just going, damn, she killed that moment. But once we get to the end of the film and the credits start to roll, you're happy. it did its job. You're watching a lot of kind of rudeness towards the Abby character midway through the film, but by the end of the film and the credit starts to roll, you are in a good place. You're in a happy place to the point where you're like, I enjoyed the film overall. And that's basically kind of what you're going to get with Happiest Season. You're going to kind of go through this wave of you're excited for these two characters that you just met, then you get home and a lot of just bad stuff kind of starts happening to the point where you're starting to dislike certain characters and wondering why certain decisions are being made and why certain characters shouldn't be going down another path than the path that they are currently on. But by the time we get to the end of the film, everything kind of comes to the way it should be, and you're usually basically happy by the credits rolling. And so with that, in terms of recommendation, if you like these kinds of films, if you like this cast, because like I said, it's a stellar cast, then I definitely recommend checking Happiest Season out. I think you guys will enjoy it for the most part. There's one scene in this film that I wish they would take out because it just didn't feel earned, and it didn't feel necessary. It just felt like, let's throw this in just to throw a wrench in, and they could have gone about it a different way, but I digress. The film itself, like I said, it's a solid holiday film. Is it something that's going to become like in the Hall of Fame of Christmas movies? Maybe, maybe not, depending on you personally. But it's definitely a new movie that you could check out for the holiday season that you guys probably would like overall, especially with a great cast we have here. Going to my review score, I'm going to give Happiest Season an 8 out of 10. Like I said, it does its job, and it's got a fantastic cast behind it, but it doesn't do enough to excel itself to the upper tier holiday must-watch list for every year for me. But it's still a very solid film overall. I hope you guys enjoyed this review. If you guys did, you go ahead and hit that like button. If you guys feel like this review is worth sharing, go ahead and hit that share button. But most importantly, don't forget the subscribe button to the channel so you guys stay up to date with all the latest videos that pop up on Sean's Movie Crusades. And, of course, don't forget to follow us on all the social media outlets you see below. Coming up next, we have another Netflix film that is basically supposed to be an Oscar favorite come Oscar season, and that is Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. The last film from Chadwick Boseman, so be on the lookout for that. We also will have Pixar's Soul and, of course, Wonder Woman 1984, so be on the lookout for that as well. And until next time, in case I don't see you, good morning, good afternoon, and good night, Movie Crusaders.